Good evening. We at Hutton Radio pride ourselves in our inclusivity and sensitive treatment of the more disadvantaged among us. We recognise that a recent update for finally getting out of your seat and moving about may cause distress amongst some parts of our audience, especially those in the hotbox and hotpiss community. In light of that, Hutton Orbital Radio has decided to create two versions of the radio show. One for those who are striding out and dying like there's no tomorrow, and those who are need to be consoled. You are listening to the Odyssey-free version of Hutton Orbital Radio News, in which all upsetting sections have been removed. If you're looking for the complete version, please check your key bindings under Alternate Audio Stream.
I finally did it. I did it.
What? By yourself?
Yes, I collected it and returned it and didn't get once.
I've been running around all day with and got chased by a couple of I did manage to them both up, though, before escaping. On my
I've only got a small but it can light up a room.
I've taken up knitting, so I've got something to do during those long
You utter bastards.
Unlike most of us when we've just tried doing a our mics are live. Good evening and welcome to Hutton Orbital live from Studio 5. I'm Rudolf Hucker, your host for this evening, and we have the usual team here for headlines and hijinks throughout your evening. A complete set of April Fools, if you like.
I'm Harry Balzac, and I've broken out the colouring pens for those of you not watching in black and white.
I'm Wilma Fingerdew, and I'm looking forward to this evening's edition of the Galnet Rares Digest.
I'm the apology officer, and I'm really sorry, but you're all horrible people.
I'm One Care, and this week we're giving chicks a rest and not telling you about another one of Hutton's systems.
And I'm Norma Snockers, and I've got lots to tell you.
In which case, it's time for the headlines. Bandits cornered as Hutton plans a heist.
It's party time at Fort Mug.
Fear of rolls out before Odyssey rollout.
Schrodinger's cat carrier.
Haydn Black Brew Book of Records record stands.
Eridani election results are in.
And it's out with the old news, in with the new. More from the community.
First, tonight, the latest breaking news on the Frameshift Bandits. Yes, the crew run by the notorious ARF after their incursions into planetary bases have now gone into hiding. With the Pilots Federation having launched their first phase of on-foot forays onto planet surfaces, Hutton commanders have been congregating in the first licensed system, Adichan, which, as luck would have it, is just where the bandits have been hiding. There are a number of limitations, as the system is currently off-limits to all but authorized carrier services, something provided by Apex something provided by Apex Interstellar, but from what we can tell, their pilots are made of some stern stuff, unlike my voice, and happy to drop you into whatever trouble you feel like getting yourself into, and then picking you up whilst under fire just as readily, all for the princely sum of 100 credits. Arrival point in the system is labelled as Hopkins City, and permission has been granted to access the station interior for the first time, with services including bar, equipment purchase, and of course the booking desk for onward travel are all available. Hutton training teams have been scouring the enormous system for signs of the frameshift bandits, but with nearly 100 bases, outposts, and landable locations available, it was only on spotting the hastily scrawled graffiti "Braben was here" on a wall in one high security location that we knew exactly where we should be looking. Desai Military Hub. Only a short supercruise from the arrival point is a heavily fortified compound. All those parts they've been robbing from other bases have likely been used to give it just that little bit something extra. We've already spotted skimmers, Goliaths, unsurprisingly they're quite big, and security patrols. There is a B site located on a nearby planet that we'll be investigating further closer to Saturday's kickoff time, though at the moment it appears to be offline, on fire, and frequented by other members of the FSB team. So, truckers, our mission: assemble at Hopkins at 2000 BST, 1900 UTC on Saturday evening. Break into teams, prepare our equipment, then make our way down to the base. We will be disguised as passing tourists, and all pilots are reminded to stow anything illegal somewhere secret. And of course, put your weapons away. At that point, having scouted the base, the plan is to break into the command building, disable the alarms, and then take back everything they stole. We will need infiltrators, combat cover, spotters, and decoys. If it all goes wrong, we'll probably also need shields and, maybe guns. But we're hoping to do it on the hush-hush. If engaged by the Frameshift Bandit combat team, we will, however, use whatever force is necessary to obtain and attain our objective. Bring your best camouflage, your best innocent face, come tooled up for war, and of course, make sure your pockets are empty to carry everything back to the waiting shuttles. See you on Saturday, truckers, and remember, don't breathe a word of this to the Frameshift Bandits. Loose lips sink ships.
Following in the footsteps of Commander Star-Lord Prime, who, back in 3303, brought every rare that existed at the time to Hutton, all 128, in an asp of all things, in an effort to find something that could be used to cure Cecil's hangover. There will be hangovers aplenty in Fort Mug today, after Commander Naughty Body Wash turned up yesterday with his anaconda named Super Snake. If that's not compensating for something, I don't know what is. And supplied Hot Call HQ with a cornucopia of rare items. A Hutton Mug, Centauri Megagin, Leastine Evil Juice, some Medbay Star Lube, some that even Amelia Hawke hasn't tried yet. All in all, one of every available rare from the bubble, plus the Jack's Quintinian still from Colonia. That's 128 rare items in total. They say that they hope that these toys will give the ground crew at Fort Mug some good times while they're on their coffee and gin breaks. Personally, I think it's all very well and generous bringing one of everything, but what happens when that's used up? Perhaps they're planning a museum of curiosities showing the rarest and most unusual items in the galaxy. This might explain why it's situated at Hankey Central. Apparently, Naughty Body Wash needs to give a big hand to Commanders Taran 4295, Snart, and our own Buck Naked. But we say what pilots do in the privacy of their own lounge is their business.
A rumour started earlier this week that since pilots could now visit the shops in person, that certain items might become scarce. Queues started to form around the starport, and curiously also around the penal colonies. Have you ever seen such luxury for prisoners? As pilots started stocking up on bio-waste clean-up packs, and tea, not only the traditional kind, but as that started to run out, people could be seen to jump, crouch, run around in circles, stare at the roof, and bang into walls as they tried to obtain ceremonial high-key tea, Ethgres tea buds, Fujin tea, Machuko's high tea, and probably too late to do them any good, Tanmark tranquil tea. Authorities have now limited pilots to 2 such items in any one visit, and given the travel times between places in an Apex taxi. It's unlikely they'll be back anytime soon. And the list also inexplicably includes food cartridges, grain, and domestic appliances that have a less than 4-star rating. Please remember that this is early days for the Walking About Pass, and we are reassured that stocks of essential items will be arriving on the shelves any day, as soon as the 25-page forms for each individual item have been filled out.
It's all the fault of quantum. Commander Lutzi recently found himself the victim of a subatomic particle's little joke, much along the lines of making all the molecules in the hostess's undergarments leap simultaneously 1 foot to the left. The hapless commander was resting quietly in one of the bays aboard a fleet carrier, listening to music, chatting to a fellow commander aboard the transport, dozing, basically just relaxing as the carrier's countdown progressed and reached 0. It's at this point in time that things became different. Lutzi was still aboard the carrier, but it hadn't moved. Except that it had, according to his companion in chat, by 500 light years. Checking the calendar to make sure that it wasn't the start of the 4th month, the day when japes and tomfoolery abound, Lutzi found that in a strange reversal of Paoli's exclusion principle, the fleet carrier actually existed in 2 places at once. A bit like the result of some kind of transporter accident, and he fervently hoped that he wouldn't suffer the fate of Tuvix and have to be ripped apart molecule by molecule. Desperate for this quantum leap to end with him getting home, he tried launching from his copy of the carrier, which was uneventful, then docked again. At which point he was apparently attacked by a scarlet crate, and everything went black. On returning to consciousness, he found, yes, you guessed it, it was only a dream. Maybe he'd sleepwalked off the fleet carrier, maybe the gods do first make mad those whom they wish to destroy, but in any case he was alone in space, 500 light years from the carrier, in a Type 9 with an 11.9 light year jump range. We are still waiting to hear the final fate of this commander. Oh boy.
In an attempt to prove once again, as if there was any doubt at all, that Hutton truckers are the nuttiest pilots in the galaxy, the Prof V, formerly a well-known prophet and pilot of the original Hot Bus, took it upon himself to attempt to break the galactic Newtonian speed record. Yes, going faster than 34,526 meters per second whilst plummeting to the ground at speed. This feat can't be accomplished by just pointing at a high-gravity world, hitting boost and then hoping you can pull up before you become part of the geography. It requires a complex series of calculations to get your speed-engineered ship to the maximum height above a planet, at which point there's enough gravity to start your attempt, and then firing thrusters to put you into a decaying orbit around the planet. Once start velocity has been achieved, 4,000 meters per second at an altitude of around 9 megameters above a 9.77 G world, the Prof pointed his nose to the skies, his arse to the ground, and in a mammoth 7-hour effort balanced his ship in exactly the right configuration to speed around the planet, using its gravity to provide constant acceleration. Buffeted by solar winds from 2 nearby stars, he threaded his ship down the narrow corridor of maximum acceleration, achieving an early efficiency rating of over 99.89% compared to the theoretical maximum. Working the thrusters to maintain balance, he accelerated to a speed faster than Apollo 10, passed the speed of Voyager 1, and then started crossing off his list of famous stellar bodies. He went faster than Pluto, faster than Neptune, then Uranus, no sniggering please, before settling into speeds that overtook the orbital speeds of Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and then finally, on passing 30,000 meters per second, the orbital speed of the home of humanity. The solar winds were heavy, and the number of gusts dropped his efficiency below the 98% mark, but he battled bravely right down to only 20 kilometers above the surface before rotating his ship and attempting to pull out of the dive. his final speed, 34,107 metres per second, only a few hundred short of the all-time record, and a personal best by quite some margin. Unfortunately, when attempting to pull back out of the planet's gravity at those breakneck speeds, he attempted to jump into supercruise, forgetting that his current speed was actually already faster than the slowest possible supercruise speed. His engine overheated, and he experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Prof V has stated that he will be trying the speed marathon once again on another date, but the level of focus required is such that he'll be doing something peaceful, like a quick afternoon run to Beagle Point and back, or an elite feet foot race against Mitterrand Hollow, just to keep himself in trim.
In Epsilon Eridani, the Mad Monks of Van Marnen Rebellion has backfired. Their all-in gamble has failed as they lost both the election in a 4-0 landslide trouncing and Liner Weaver Station into the bargain to the truckers. Well done to those who ran missions, ballot stuffed, traded, gerrymandered, irrationally demanded recounts and dumped exploration data to boost Hutton influence and help win the election. Given that many truckers have been issued new shiny legs to exercise with this week, it was somewhat of a surprise to see that there were no adverse states in any system. None. Like a spring sky, blue across the board. Or is that purple? One minor cloud on the horizon is the civil unrest brewing in Wolf 359. Has the dastardly Don had his supply of moustache wax interdicted again? Who knows, but jump in there and ventilate some pirate scum to vacuum to help out. 5 systems, the usual suspects, are wallowing below 40%. Barnard Star, Wolf 1481, Y0855-0714, Kakari and Epsilon Indy, which is still in recovery after the Mad Monk's nefarious plot. These 5 systems really need a 10% boost into the 40s to end the perpetual influence locking as the minor factions squabble amongst themselves. Meanwhile, in the dizzying heights that are the top end of the Hutton System League, 8 systems, yes, 8, a third of them, are chewing the scenery with their overachieving act again. We only need to expand from 1 system, folks. Keep them down below 60, please. Being the practitioners of planned expansion that we are, expansion was triggered from LHS 340 and commanders are working on a second attempt at moving into Wolf 562. So work to push down LP 734-32 Company for when expansion occurs on Sunday. Work for Wolf 562 first, or Wolf Major, or against LP 734-32 Company. In Colonia, Grand Poobah Hankey requests that Colonia-based truckers work in Doriso and Tyr for hot coal, but do not work in Pythias, as this is currently too high. We still need to leave Hotel Carson and Ari, where complaints of running in the corridors in the early hours of the morning have been received, presumably as commanders try out their new legs. Hutton were down to single figures, but are now rising, no doubt, to cause trouble with the controlling player faction. So priorities this week are: in Wolf 562, drop exploration data and run missions for Wolf 562 first, or Wolf Major, to their outpost Faris Gateway, or generally work against LP 734-32 Company. Boost Hutton influence in Barnard Star, Wolf 1481, Y0855-0714, and Epsilon Eridani. If you want to shoot something, shoot pirates in Wolf 359 or LP 734-32 Company ships in Wolf 562. We still need to exit Carson and Ari, so help any of the factions there except Hutton. Or, alternatively, bugger it all and carry on playing the Odyssey Alpha.
Here's the news of events run by the community for the community. Eros Maidlung's thematically directed dirigible is in the doldrums this week. He said something about stretching his legs and skipping round with Babster. Please don't tell the carrier as it'll get jealous. And the FTM Isfahan is fueled and ready to go to their next destination, roughly east. In the first of our 2 reports from very different galactic exploration events, Commander Mephisto sends this report. The 3rd weekly update from the Comfy Cannon cruise comes from waypoint 13 over 11,000 light-years away from Sol. Regarding the sciences on planets, more brain trees, fuel rolls and gas vents were visited. Premiers were bark mounds, woof, and peduncle trees. There were more Lagrange clouds, including the first stormy one, also containing our first peduncle trees, and in them more crystals, mollusks, and anomalies. Congratulations go to the passenger Commander Bellager, who got his elite exploration rank. The first tritium refill was done in only a few hours, thanks to the enthusiastic support of the passengers, and it was celebrated in a stock Sidewinder free-for-all in a planetary ring, which ensued in a fun night of pew-pew, later with any ship at hand. Salutes go to Commander English for his glorious return to the Khonshu over 9,000 light-years. He thought he would spawn at the fleet carrier if he opted not to rebuy his upgraded Sider, so that he would be prepared for the next Sidewinder battle. But that only got him a fast ride back to the bubble and 200 jumps to go back. Keep up with their progress at bit.ly/ED3C. And now an update from Commander Hutton on the much less luxurious €5 tour. The fleet is about halfway point to our expedition now, nearing a total of 1 million light-years after over 15,000 jumps and almost 100,000 planets have been scanned. We've lost 10 commanders on our trip, of which one was eaten alive by a white dwarf in orbit of the World of Death. We plan to reach Sagittarius A by next week. Some pilots are reportedly suffering from space madness, claiming they've seen star clusters in the shape of cubes and triangles. They're everywhere, they said. Information on this expedition can be found at bit.ly/€5 tours, though like the Comfy Cannon cruise, we suspect it's a little late to join up unless you can find a friendly fleet carrier owner with nothing better to do. Finally, Commander Valoran has organised a mysterious event. We've no idea what it could be. After all, with a title like Baz's Big Bubble Banter Bus Anniversary Tour, how are we supposed to guess? Oh, alright, yes, it's pretty obvious that this is a way for us to show Baz how much his Banter Bus exploits have meant to so many of us, and to express the hope that in the not too distant future that he can lead us once again in a brand new bus to adventures in time and space. Well, space mostly, but it will take up some time, so that's all I'm going to say on the subject. Commander Valoran has sent this message. Truckers, in 1 month's time, it will be a year since many of us embarked on Baz's Big Bubble Banter Bus. Sights were seen, friendships were made, and we all gained a new appreciation for the game. To mark the first anniversary of this historic event, we will be taking a 1-week mini tour to some of the places that stood out from the original event and a few new adventures. Join us in game on the TeamSpeak. The event will be nightly, departing from Hill Pass High, starting on Monday 26th of April. Fleet carrier services will be available at each destination. For the banter, for the bus, for the mug. We agree 100% and add #for the Grand Baz. That's all for this week, and please remember to get in touch if you hear of any news events coming up.
And we're back in the studio. Thank you very much, everybody. Exciting news this week. My goodness gracious me. But we are joined in the studio not only by the entire team, we do have some special guests, and we're going to introduce them in a minute. In fact, one of them is locked out at the moment. So can somebody let the Rampage back to the studio?
I'll go get him.
Yeah, you go get the Rampage. We will introduce our guests in a minute because it's something to do with the Alpha Armageddon. But the team for this evening, we have Commander Ventura on the decks pushing the magic button. Good evening, Commander Ventura.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Pretty good. We have the Harry Ballsack, also known as Commander Palantir.
Good evening.
We have, of course, Amelia.
Hello.
The Apology Officer.
Hello.
Chicks.
Hello.
And Flossie.
Hello.
So we've got lots and lots coming up in the show. We've got the usual bits and bobs once we finish the banter. So we've got a bit of the Galnet news digest from Commander Wotherspoon and Beetlejude. We've got the Galnet Rares digest from Amelia. Are you ready for that one, Amelia?
I'm. Yep. Sure.
We have, I think, some CG news this week from Flossie. I think.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Yes.
It's not your cup of tea this week, though. I don't think, is it?
No, thank goodness, because I want to go in the Alpha.
Yeah. Right. Own up. Who's fondling their mic?
It's me. I just
Oh,
can't help it.
we need an apology.
Oh, I'm not sorry. I'm enjoying it.
No, you're sulking still. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I was enjoying that. But yeah. You reminded me. I'm in a big huff.
You are the big huff. Well, no,
I'm the
you're in it
massive
on the way
huff.
to Beagle Point. Yeah, it's the massive huff, isn't it? It's a type 10.
not on the way. I'm there in a
Oh,
type
right.
10. Yes.
And you've got a sports report for us this week.
Yes, I have.
I mean, I'm guessing that things, for reasons we'll discuss in a minute, might have been a little bit quiet on the Hutton front this week.
No, it's not really. No, they're pretty good stats. Next week's, the
Next
stats
week.
that go together this week. Next
Yeah.
week will be quiet.
Flying
No.
spaceships nil.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't say that exactly. No.
No, apart from the big huff, which is all the
Apart
way
from
out to
the big
Beagle
huff,
Point. Yeah.
No, there's a couple of
Okay.
people out there doing their thing as well. So yeah.
And Commander
enough,
Chicks,
Hmm.
you're resting the pipes this evening, a little
We're-
bit.
I thought we'd be excited talking about feet, so we decided to have a break this week, although there are several in the pipeline.
Yep. Well, we're looking forward to those ones. There's been a lot of interest over on our YouTube channel in your various system chats so far. There's been some nice feedback.
Very
People
nice.
saying more, please, more.
Oh, they're all coming. There'll be one for
Yeah.
every system.
Or they're just sitting funny, whichever.
I don't think that's something you should say before he's about to clean his pipes. I'm sorry.
Oh dear, it's off.
The new
So
one went in today.
we time to introduce our two special guests this evening. The first of our special guests is Sergeant Major Mustang. Are you there, Sergeant Major Mustang?
Evening, maggots.
Evening. We'll come to you in a minute. Obviously, talk about Alpha Armageddon and the operation for Saturday. But you might have some tactical notes for us, plebs.
Absolutely. But just remember, all you need for slaughter is bullets and water.
Right, perfect. And joining you on our guest couch there this evening is somebody we haven't heard from a little bit. It's Commander Rampage, a private security consultant. I think it says on your business card.
Hey up.
Hey up, lad.
Hey up.
I suppose we're going to have to apologise to the apology officer. We're going to have to kick off with what's been going on this week.
Yeah,
Because
it's fine. I'll just bang my head off the desk to get finished.
we've been
Let me know
finding
when
our
you're done.
we've been finding our feet, haven't we? And I think everybody here. Oh no, I don't know about Amelia. Whether you've been finding your feet this week?
I have not. I did install all the relative bits, and I have created my body, as it were. But I haven't actually jumped in yet. I haven't had the chance.
But I think everybody else here, other than the apology officer, has now had a little bit of a go. You go and sit with the apology officer and tune in a bit, or tune out, or bash your head on the desk, maybe. Because, yes, we have been testing out our first visit to our first system that lets us in and walk around a little bit. Before we start, Commander Rampage.
Hello.
Hutton does its sort of alpha testing in a particular style, doesn't it?
A little bit PWP-ish, shall we say?
PWP-ish. Yeah, I mean, obviously, our attempt is to try and break all the things so that the people responsible for the things can fix the things. But the best way to break the things is break the things with friends, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's no good busting something and then going, "Oh, that's cool," without somebody there to watch you bust it. And it's a bit like what was the old TV show where they had silly accidents and then videoed it and put it all over the telly?
Jackass.
Oh,
Jackass.
You've been framed, wasn't it?
Well, I was going with Jackass, but you've been framed. Yeah, it's not as much fun if there's not somebody watching the stupidity, is there?
Absolutely not. No.
Now, Flossie, I understand that Commander Rampage may have rather surprised you a couple of times.
Yeah.
Usually by standing in front of you and going peekaboo.
Yes.
Yes.
Kept crouching down and jumping up again.
It gets an absolute laugh, does that?
Peekaboo.
Yeah, you just play peekaboo, but you've got to say it at the right time. You've got to go peekaboo as you jump up. But it does work. See, look, it works now. I don't even need to do it anymore.
No. So Commander Rampage, obviously, if you're a Hutton trucker and you're taking part in our testing, but also in the Alpha Armageddon at the weekend, we're not doing it in open because open was full of people all going peekaboo at each other all the time. We did it with sort of, I think we're up to about 55 Hutton friends all logged in at the moment.
Yeah,
but
something
how
like that,
how do we find where we're all doing this together in the same private group? Where are you doing it? No, just basically, how do you connect with the other Hutton commanders so you're just seeing Hutton commanders? That's the thing.
Oh, private groups. So
Private groups.
Yeah, best thing is just to jump into the private group and agree on a station and just meet up there in the bar.
Yeah, we're finding that frame rates are a little bit better when you do that. A little bit less jerky because you haven't got the network traffic, but also it means the people you're seeing around there are fellow Hutton truckers. It is the Vantean private group that we're using. We couldn't start out the Hutton one because the Hutton core commander hasn't got access yet. So we are using the Vantean private group. We will spell it out for you at some point. Who wants to spell it?
I'll spell it.
Go on then, Flossie.
It's VINGTETUN.
We've made it deliberately difficult so people can't just guess it. There we go.
Would
In
you like it
Yorkshire, we pronounce it Vingitun.
Vintitun, but it's definitely not the
You can
Vinge.
spell it
'cause
phonetically if anybody wants.
Yeah, if you say Vinge, it makes me sound like I've got a nasty disease. So we don't do that. Not that I haven't, but Nurse Wyeth is telling me that cream is going to work sometime soon.
Inflammation of the vinge.
So, Commander Mustang, Sergeant Major Mustang.
Present and correct.
We do understand that there was a little bit of an issue with your deployment and you were a little bit late to the party.
Roger that. Yep. The Alpha wouldn't show up in my launcher. Very embarrassing. Drawn my weapons, cleaned them. There's a good military practice, and couldn't attend the party.
But you are now boots on the ground, as they say.
Affirmative.
Affirmative, excellent. And we do have a tactical plan coming up. So I'm just going to go down the list. Commander Palantir, we do have a sort of bit of a Q&A coming up in a minute, but your first impressions of actually setting foot outside your ship and stretching your legs. I mean, leg week was last week, so you did do some training. Your first impressions of leg week or post-leg week.
It's like being back when I first installed Elite Dangerous and went flying and went crash, 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 die. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. It's brilliant. The fact that I don't know what I'm doing and I've got to work it out is superb. I think that's very much like it was in the early days. No help, no nothing. Just learn it. Just you and your friends.
Yeah, just landed a base and like, what the heck do I do here?
Oh, dead.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do that again.
Yeah. No, Commander Amelia, I know you haven't taken part yet, but you've seen some of the messages going out and the pictures and bits and bobs. Is there anything that you've seen so far that's made you go, ooh?
I am particularly fond of the, and I know most people is probably going to hate this by now because the shuttle goes back and forth for missions, but I just love it. I think it's awesome. It's an adder. What's not to like?
I love the Apex taxis.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Space Ubers.
Space Spoober.
The only bit I think is missing is the button to turn on the internal light so you can read your newspaper.
Yes.
It is a bit dark in there, isn't it? You can't read anything.
They're also missing. They're also missing a dancing hula girl bobblehead on the dashboard.
Oh, that would be
I
so
did
cool. And
notice
fluffy dice.
the lack of
Yeah.
dashboard ornaments. Yes.
I tried to
we ought
ride
to put-
outside.
They don't have much to say, do they, those
Yeah.
taxi drivers?
So, apology, officer.
Yes.
Other than sulking over at Beagle Point in the massive huff,
I'm over it.
you're over it.
It's fine.
I mean, obviously, you've been able to live this vicariously, from a
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah, I feel like I could actually do some of these missions myself.
What thing made you go ooh and point?
I just like being able to run about the building and steal things off the shelves and enter codes on lockers that would then open, and you'd find the thing you were looking for, but there might be another thing there as well. I just want to know what other stuff is.
Oh, there is new stuff. Yeah, there are coils of cable, and there might be a chip or two.
And
There's
breaking into computer consoles.
has
to get
anybody else found
information.
the big bottles of milk yet? Has anybody else found those ones?
Nope.
Oh, I went to a
thought I
base
saw
the other
one of
day.
them. It looked like an orange.
Yeah.
It looked like a 2-litre orange juice.
2-litre orange juice or a
Yeah.
carton of milk or something, just sitting on top of barrels, and you can pick them up and sell them for
They
money.
should be in a space fridge.
Yeah.
And then Commander Chicks. Go on. What the things that make you go ooh?
Well, the lift down to the shuttle must pull about 10 Gs. Because no sooner the doors close, they're open again, and you're on a different floor.
I'd pass out in one of them.
I know.
Didn't
It
bust
hit
if
the
it's
roof
tower
when
once.
you,
We understand that Remlock, obviously, your spacesuits can deal with high Gs and all sorts. So Remlock, I mean, this is why you have to wear your flight suit as a minimum in stations. I mean, you can't walk around in your shorts or your kilt or whatever else. You have to wear your Remlock spacesuit in stations. Otherwise, those lifts prove to be, a little painful.
you
You
wouldn't
get
wanna-
that feeling that, when you go on the big boat on fairground rides, the one that swings up and down, you get that feeling when you get to
Don't
the
do fairground rides.
but you know the one I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
Rampage and his undercarriage know what I mean, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt, mate.
Yeah,
Encouraging
Ooh,
it. All too familiar.
oh, it feels funny in me Watsits. Yes, you'd get that feeling in the lift.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a kilt's a bad idea for that lift. I mean, at those speeds, it would be positively indecent.
Well, we have seen the
Yourself in
fans
the
under
chin.
the floor. Yeah.
But there must be something, because obviously as the lift is going down, your feet stay stuck to the floor instead of you being squashed against the ceiling. I wonder what method they use to keep you there. What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going with Velcro.
No, because then the Velcro wouldn't work. No, it's got to be suction and then turn it off. But it's Velcro.
Yeah, well,
you would
maybe.
hear it, wouldn't you? But then Velcro would work for your tumblers if you were putting them on the bar. Because if your coasters are set on the bar and they've got Velcro on the upper side and your glasses get Velcro on the bottom side, it will stay where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
And
Well,
zero
we'll-
G-bars.
We've got some important questions about gravity, some very, 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 very heavy questions about gravity in a second, and I am going to be quizzing a few of you about your experiences of low G in these particular places. But Flossie,
Yes.
now you and I have been chatting a little bit, and we did try and go to some missions, but I understand you finally managed to get some new clothes.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Yeah, your wardrobe has doubled.
it has. Now
Yeah.
I've got 2 suits instead of 1.
So you finally got your hold of your Maverick suit as well. I mean, are you feeling
Yeah.
awesome in your new Maverick suit?
Definitely. Yes.
I mean, those flight suits. I mean, the ones you were wearing walking around the station, they don't leave much to the imagination, do they? Do they? I mean, these are a little bit more modest. These ones.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really
They're-
like mine.
they're water cooled,
Yeah.
especially in all the right places to keep you chilled and
My
and you
suit's
get.
water cool, but that's just gone a
Not
bit
too
scared.
much, though. Don't like that
Yes.
cold.
But yeah, so as a crew, Commander Rampage and Star Major Mustang, we have been engaging a little bit of PWP. So before we go over to the mission briefing, Commander Rampage,
Yeah.
we had a chat the other night, and you got all sort of verbal about PWP and our first mission that we did. You and the Dead Meat GF.
Yeah. It just felt like a proper squad. It felt like we were doing something together. It was good. We worked as a team to get it done. It just felt great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
just-
atmospheric too.
Oh, we were in the dark. We had our head torches on. We had no idea what we were doing, and somehow we broke into a base as a team, and then powered it up. And then we had to turn off all of the security, all the alarms,
Security, the alarms.
and
everything.
run
And then
away from skimmers. We
skimmers.
had we had
Yeah.
to get to a pad with skimmers going over their heads. And of course, you can't get more than one of us out at a time. So one person ran out, and we did the thing, didn't we? Where we had to sort of wait while the other taxi came in.
Yeah, hiding in the corner, hoping the skimmers didn't come over the top of us. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we tried taking Flossie with us on the second go, and then we fluffed it. Something rotten, didn't we?
Just a tad. I think we all got splattered,
Yeah,
didn't
I
we, with
jinxed
Commando?
it.
So,
I
Saturday.
just thought that sounds really good. Sorry, just really good. Just thought with the name for your team there, with you and it could be Shades of Blues brothers.
Yeah, we've got 15 sheets of graphene. We're wearing sunglasses. It's 150,000 light seconds to our destination. Hit it, yeah.
It's minus. It's
minus 200.
It's minus 200 in the shade. Yeah.
Yes. So we have a mission on Saturday. Obviously, as you've been listening to the show over the last few weeks, the Frameshift Bandits, the notorious bunch of thieves and robbers headed up by the notorious ARF, have been stealing things from bases before we could get there, and we've been on a mission to hunt them down. Sergeant Major Mustang, we have an update. We've found their base, haven't we?
We have indeed. I can't disclose it this time. We're just going to call it Objective Delta.
Objective Delta, but it's somewhere near Hopkins, I think.
That's correct, yep.
Yep. And now Objective Delta, I mean, is this one of these little agricultural ones with a few fluffy hippie plants and, a couple of barrels lying around?
No, mostly it's just tooled up with guerrillas with massive guns.
Right, okay. So it's a military base. They've taken over a military base.
They have, yes. Could
you give us some insight into the installations and armaments that are likely to be on this base?
Well, we're planning on doing a close target recce. Our last attempt, we landed and got killed immediately, so we're going to have to rethink the strategy on that one.
Now, we do understand that the local security are okay as long as you look like tourists. I mean, you're wearing a flowery shirt, some sandals, you're fine.
Yeah, we turned up looking like the dropship crew from Aliens, and they didn't take very well to it.
Oh, right. So it was guns out, go, 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 that kind of stuff.
Yeah, shields on, headlights on, guns out. It didn't receive a warm welcome. Or it did, depending on how you look at it, with the lasers and everything,
The private security consultant, Rampage here, though, you've been looking into doing your best to look innocent and not get shot.
Flat cap does it wonders when you're walking around in a station.
Yep. So we are developing a tactical plan, Sergeant Major Mustang, which involves turn off all the alarms so that nobody gets upset.
Yep.
Yes, I mean, I've got some timings. I mean, like we thought we'd go to the armory at 6 o'clock to draw weapons and then sit around until 8 o'clock in the evening, because that's a very military thing to do.
Hurry up and wait.
Every soldier loves some hurry up and wait.
Yep. But the plan is, I mean, what we've got to come out with at the end of it is we've got to take all of our stuff back that they robbed. So, I mean, obviously, our intention is not to engage in combat. I mean, obviously, a good day out as a soldier is to end up not having to be caught in a firefight.
Yeah, but the one thing I'd say that is if everything's going really, really well and it seems like the mission's going to plan, it's probably an ambush.
Yeah, so there are security patrols walking around on foot around the base who do have scanners. One important consideration is if the local security, and we haven't kicked off the operation fully with the go, go, go yet, and they want to scan you, what should we do?
Stand still and let them.
Unless, of course, it's go, 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 in which case...
Run and gun.
Run and gun. Run and gun is a good effort. In terms of what we're going to be doing, obviously, we're going to get down there. And how many landing pads are we looking at there, Sergeant Major?
Well, I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that we've got no air support. We've got no CASEVAC, and we're actually using the ATS system, which apparently stands for Apex Taxi Service. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, we will be taking a taxi into this operation. There are 2 landing pads, as I understand. One large landing pad to the side of the base and one small landing pad, unfortunately, right in the middle of the base. Now, Commander Rampage, when we do the operation on Saturday, we can't all land at once, can we?
No, so we queue up. You don't get out. Do
you want to talk everybody through the process? Or we're going to be in teams, and we're going to see how many teams we can get down. Can you talk us through the process of getting everybody on the ground and not dead?
Yep. So you all catch your Ubers at the same time, and you work out who's first, which is quite easy because it's first person on the pad. and the first person on the pad doesn't get off out of their ship until all 3 or 4 commanders are queued, and then you get off one by one as the pads become available, and that way you're all down within about a minute of each other. Just make sure that you're not stood around losing suit power while you're waiting for everybody to arrive.
Right. So Sergeant Major Mustang, obviously the first person out is going to be providing cover for those coming next. What is the standard tactical deployment? How are we going to manage this one? We're running for cover? Are we just putting up a perimeter? What are we doing?
I would say that the ideal situation is to secure the nearest building so that we're not losing suit power and oxygen.
Right. Okay. So we're going to have to scout out in the next couple of days the nearest building, whether that is the habitation zone or whatever. Now, we can cut our way into that, but cutting our way into that is going to let the enemy know that we're there. And stealth is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm more of a soldier. I'll leave that to the private security consultant.
So, private security consultants. Commander Palantir, you've done a few of these missions as well.
I've done 5 of them and survived 3.
So there are 2 different ways to get into the buildings, aren't there? These are powered up buildings, so there are 2 different ways to get in.
Yes, well, you can walk up to the door, and assuming you have the right authority, you could just walk through.
Commander Chicks. How might one get the right authority?
No idea. I haven't got that far yet.
No, you haven't got that far yet. Well, we do have a special tool in our armory supplied by Hutton Central, which is an ID scanner. And if you can sneak up behind somebody and use their ID scanner, you can clone their ID, at which point they think that you're them. At which point the doors will open and you can get inside, which is perfectly fine. That's the sneaky way of doing it. Now, if we are in a team, Sergeant Major Mustang, obviously, if you try and sneak up behind somebody who's got nothing to do, they might turn around and spot you. But if we're in a team, there are ways we might distract them.
Absolutely. One of the best tactics, I think, is to wait for them to scan somebody, and then someone else sneaks up behind them and gives them a little tweak in return.
So they're having a nice chat with one of the team, saying, "Stand still, I'm scanning you," while the other member of our team sneaks up behind them and robs them of their ID.
Absolutely. Bit of pickpocketing.
Bit of pickpocketing, perfect. So while they're busy doing something else, this is where PWP comes into its own. So we are going to be trying to, on Saturday, use a member of the team to look innocent in their flat cap, Commander Rampage, and distract the security guards while somebody else sneaks up and robs their ID, at which point we can get into a building and we'll get oxygen and our power's not going to be going down, and hopefully we're going to be able to turn off the alarms, because that is critical on Saturday. Turning off the alarms. Because Flossie, you're not a combat person, are you? I mean, you wield a pan, but you're not a combat person.
Not really, but I don't mind if I need to.
Yeah, if somebody shoots first, you're going to pan them thoroughly, aren't you? So when we're in the base, there are ways to work out where things are in certain buildings. Flossie, how might you work out in a base where things are?
By looking at one of the terminals.
Terminals, yep. So we're going to need somebody to stand in front of the terminal and call out things that they've seen. Like passcodes and numbers and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the way it's going to work. We're going to get there. We're going to follow Rampage's instructions. We're going to get down on the pad. We're going to establish a perimeter. We're going to go and look innocent, rob everybody we can without guns out. We're going to try and get into a building. And then at some point when we turn the alarms off, Sergeant Major Mustang, we are going to give a go signal.
That's correct.
And at the go signal, it's weapons hot.
Yep. So basically kill anything that moves that isn't one of you guys.
Perfect. Now, there is mobile artillery in the area.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that. Yeah, I don't know how far they can depress the guns. I don't know if they can fire into the yard. Has that been tested yet?
They can fire into the yard. Yes,
you can. If you keep close to them and keep under them, and as long as you don't start getting into the line of little red lasers, you can avoid them. But other than that, it's a bit of an insta-splat.
So concealment and cover is the key.
Yes, any cover from above, because the aerial support that they have got is vicious. Absolutely vicious. So that's the plan. And then we're going to do that, and we're going to try and take everything out of the base. Now, there should be enough of us that it won't be a problem. We have the advantage, being Hutton truckers, of numbers. But if anybody, FTM Mustang, needs a medevac,
Yeah, I don't think there is medivac. I think the actions on getting hit are to lie on the ground and bleed a lot.
right? Okay, but then you can come back again once you've been patched up back at the station.
That's correct, yep. But I think it's a feral taxi trip, so you might be a
No,
little bit
it's
late for the flight.
only 1600 light seconds, luckily,
Ideal.
which means it's about 3 to 4 minutes from where we land. So, timings, our Major Mustang. At what time are we assembling, and at what time are we meeting, and where are we meeting?
So we're meeting up at 2000 hours.
And in the bar?
Yeah, absolutely. Seems appropriate.
Hopkins City, in the bar.
Yes.
At which point we'll systematically all call for our Ubers and we'll make our way down. And voice communications.
I guess we're going to go for either TeamSpeak or Discord. I think most people have got TeamSpeak, haven't they? So.
Yep, so we will be using this same TeamSpeak server we use for this radio show. The server name, Commander Flossie, what server do we connect to when we've got our TeamSpeak running?
Just a minute, I'll just have a look.
This one, the one we're in now.
Yeah, the one we're in now.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm like a whippet.
radio.forthemug.com.
No, ts.forthemug.com. That's
No,
the
well,
one.
that's the one I'm in.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so the server name is ts for teamspeak.forthemug.com, which is not a website. It is a TeamSpeak client. If any of you do want to use Discord, you can do. I know a few people also use the Xbox chat Commander Rampage.
Yes, they do. Very reliable.
Even though they're not on Xboxes, but they, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We will be breaking into wings. So you want to be bringing a group of friends with you. We're going to need an experienced commander in charge of each of the squads. Sergeant Major Mustang, you'll be taking one squad?
Yep, that's correct.
And will you be taking the heavy weapons with you?
That's my intention, yep.
Rocket launchers, the whole lot.
Yeah, lots of flashes. That
So-
makes me happy.
So if anybody is interested in taking the heavy weapon support, they want to be getting in touch with Sergeant Major Mustang. We will put details up on the Facebook page and in the Discord as well. Then Commander Rampage, as our private security consultant, are you going to be taking a team to look at the security side of things?
Definitely.
Yeah, the panels, the cutting out, turning the alarms off.
Yep.
Yep.
All ready to go.
Commander Palantir, are you going to be cannon fodder team?
Oh, yes. Go shoot the, what's the name out of me? 7 Shades
Yeah.
of thingy.
You and Flossie, I think, are going to be on scanning duties, trying to get IDs off people, possibly.
Yeah, don't point that thing at me. No, that kind of thing.
And Amelia, are you thinking of coming to join us, or are you going to be laughing from the sidelines and watching us die horribly? I mean, sorry, succeed.
I'll be there.
You'll be there. So do you want to join a particular team? Are you going to be on turning the power off if we need it?
That sounds like fun. Yeah, sure, why not?
So your job is going to be throw the big switch, turn the power off.
Ah, the big red button.
Yep. And we do understand that the Dead Meat GF may also be running a team, but he's under a pseudonym and I can't remember what it is. But details of who and what team and what we need. Now, it may be...
Salty Miner.
Salty Miner, there we go. It may be that we don't get to see each other. So we may be broken into different instances. That's not a problem. We'll just take whatever team we've got and follow the same instructions. We're all going to be in the same chat, so we can follow the same sequence going forwards. It's going to be good fun. We're going to break things. Now, one of the purposes of doing this is actually to break it. So if something goes wrong, and Rampage, you experienced something going wrong the other night, didn't you?
I sort of disappeared, but didn't disappear, depending on
Yeah.
who you were. I was doing my ninja thing, that's what I call it.
If it happens, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing as far as we're concerned. Because that's a bug report. And bug reports are good, which means it helps the Pilots Federation fix it for the future.
I love bugs. Just show me where they are.
Yeah, you love bugs. Was it the only good bug's a dead bug, isn't it?
Damn right.
Yep. So that's the operation. It's happening Saturday, 2000 GMT, our Texas stew, which is 1900 UTC, but it will be going on all evening. We're going to all log in together. We're going to have good fun. There is a secondary site which only has bandits in it. I think they're in the middle of taking it over as opposed to own it already. So if we find it too difficult, we do have a secondary site where we can try and capture the frameshift bandits too, which is also nearby. The topography of the site, Commander Palantir.
Yes.
Is it a big open plain?
Well, no, it's exact opposite. It's perched. You can tell that there will be somebody in the command consoles turning around in the chair in a white suit with a cat being stroked very gently, and there will probably be tanks of piranhas. It's that kind of location. There are deadly cliffs. Well, pretty steep slopes anyway. Everywhere.
Are these the up kind of cliffs, like making a wall, or are these the down kind of cliffs?
These are the down kind of cliffs making a splat.
Yes.
And there are also mountains if you don't think you're high enough.
Yeah, so we have mountains and canyons.
Practice your base jumping, that's what I say.
Yeah, we will be pressing base jumping at some point during the evening. Right, I've got some, but so that's the operation. We're going to put details up about it on the Discord and up on the Facebook page. Now, I've got an important question, though, because there was something discussed on Lave Radio in the week, because we've been walking around these stations, and it occurred to somebody that everyone's walking on the same surface, but we've got no gravity. So I'm going to pick on somebody and say, Commander Flossie,
Yes.
how is it that we're all staying on the ground?
Oh, magnetic boots.
Magnetic boots, fantastic. And Amelia,
Yes.
the glasses of drink. How's the drink staying in the glass?
Could be Velcro.
Micro Velcro at a molecular level.
At a molecular level, yeah.
So the molecules have little hooks on them, and then the cups are slightly furry on the inside. It's not badly washed. They're slightly furry on the inside. Okie dokie. And Commander Chicks, the pot plants I do notice also seem to be staying put in 0G.
Suction. Little suction fans in the bottom, keeping the soil.
Oh, there's a fan underneath them, just sort of spinning, keeping them right. Okie dokie. And then when you walk back from your ship in some of the stations, there's like, apology officer, there's detritus all over the floor. There's crisp packets and drinks bottles all over the floor.
Yep.
How are they staying there?
Well, that's the vents in the floor. That again is a suction, and suction's pulling them down onto the floor.
So there is a perfectly logical explanation as to why everything's on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of air hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Sucks instead of blows.
Yeah.
And of course,
some of the rubbish has been there so long it's semi-sentient, so it can just hold on all by itself.
So that's almost like Velcro. It's got little hooks that's hanging onto the floor.
There was one wrapper there that said marathon on it. That's how long that's been there.
Now, Amelia, we do notice that you and the Galnet Food Digest have been running adverts all over the station as well. I mean, the Karsuki locusts. I love the marketing slogan for those things.
Yeah, they bite them before they bite you or something, wasn't it?
It says Karsuki. Yeah, Karsuki locusts yum, I think was that one, wasn't it?
Well, that's a good slogan.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as short as you can get. It's almost Tony the Tiger-esque. You know,
yum.
Frosties, they're great. Karsuki locusts, yum. And does anybody remember the other ones that we've seen? I've seen some indie bourbon.
I've seen Lave Brandy.
I'm loving all the adverts for the Federal Corvette. It looks really good.
It does, yeah, and all the station services as well. So yeah, there are if you take some time in the station, have a look around, you'll see the Galnet Food Digest adverts all over the station. The grubs as well. I think there's some grubs in there and all sorts. But yeah, it's been good fun. It's been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fun. And yes, we're going to put the event together for Saturday. Now, we do have an update from a commander who I understand is sitting in the green room at the moment. So who would like to give us a little bit of an update about Commander Kinrain? Don't all speak at once. I was going to hand over. It's in the... The notes are there. Flossie, do you want us to give us the update about Commander Kinrain?
Yep, okay. It's been a while since our update regarding Commander Kinrain and his recovery. Last time on Baz Goes Bump, we heard that he'd been kidnapped from the recovery unit and installed in the quarters of Ali, who was kicking him into shape and attempting to get the reboot and repair to work. Cause, data blockage in the central CPU. going bump. Systems offline, side order of got COVID, kicked its arse. Current condition, rotation correction offline, right hand side hard points and docking gear broken, comes on the fritz. Update. Since the last communication, Alison Hilborn has invented a new motivational tool to attempt to reboot the Baz. She's wired up a couple of croc clips to a ship's battery and is sneaking up behind him every 3 hours and zapping him. It might not have caused a full reboot yet, but it's certainly giving his bad language circuits a good going over. His rotational correction now appears to be online and doesn't need a tugboat to get him about when he's wedged sideways in the docking area. Comms are improving, as can be seen in the attached video. That was a few weeks ago now. He has, however, been invited by his daughter Becky to accept a special award later in the year, about July time, where he'll be invited to change his nameplate to say Gramps, Grampy, Gumpy, Grandpa, Pops or Grandad. Though we quite like Grandbaz, as it makes him sound like a mysterious vizier from the 1001 Nights. The honorific comes with a system permit to daughter's house for cuddles with a new multi-crew member. From his friends at Hutton, we'd like to wish him and his family a hearty congratulations and an obligatory "you're far too young to be a grandfather," and of course, continue to recover well.
Ray! Yes, and those of you in chat may notice that Special Effect Baz is lurking around in Twitch chat at the moment as well, and he's probably gone pink now because we mentioned him, and he does that. Yes. But no, lovely to see you in chat, Baz. Lovely to have you back in chat, and thank you very much to Ali for all the updates about how you're doing. It's been absolutely wonderful to see your recovery and the improvements week on week as well. Now, talking of famous people, we like saying yay about. Commander Palantir.
Yes. Would you be referring to a certain person of this parish?
I certainly would, yes.
Pilot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the Pilots Federation have very recently had a competition for screenshots. And this week, one of the winners goes by the name of Commander Flossie.
Now, FTM Mustang, Sergeant Major Mustang, did you see the heroic rescue attempts by Flossie in these screenshots in burning stations?
I did in the Python, was it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's heroism worthy of medal. I mean, we need to pin things on Flossie for those stellar activities.
And I take it we're not talking about donkey tails, yeah?
No, we don't pin the tail on the donkey in this studio. No.
Man, that's my favorite game. Yes, the Hutton 5-star gold cluster. Yes, definitely.
Yep, for heroic efforts in media, broadcasting, and of course heroic rescuing go to Flossie, as recognised by the Pilots Federation. But then again, we all know that Flossie is the Pilots Federation's favourite,
and rightly so.
Right. So before we move on to Commander Wotherspoon and Beetlejude, just going to check with the chat and check with everybody in here. Are there any other questions you've got about the feat that we've been walking around on for the last few days? Nope.
Tumbleweed.
Nope.
Okay. The only other one we've seen is also from the Prof V, who, having finished doing his speed run, managed to get onto planet surface and discovered some cacti. Cacti, yes. And there are some wonderful photographs over on the Discord channel of Prof V standing in front of some rather suggestively shaped cactuses on foot as well. That bodes really well for when we get to have a look at proper biological samples out in space.
You mean that's the plural of cactus? I thought you meant some sort of disgusting neckwear. Sorry, when you said cacti.
A cacti. Oh, goodness gracious me. What are you like? Anyway, well, look, thank you very much to the FTM Mustang. Yep, thank you very much, the Rampage. Yes, PWP is what it's all about, and we're going to be doing a lot of that on Saturday. And anybody who hasn't completed a mission yet, we're still not going to complete a mission. We're probably going to die heroically, but it's going to be enormous fun. Please do come and join us. We will be going all evening. I'm sure the night shift are going to take over late in the evening as well and have a go at this one. And if we all fail, we all meet up at the bar and we try it again. That's the fun bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm just checking with our DJ for the evening, Commander Normsky. Commander DJ Normsky. I'm assuming you've got some insightful sound there from Wotherspoon and Beetlejude. So if you do, if you could take it away for us, that'd be fantastic. And then I'm going to hand over to all of you for the rest of the show.
Galnet News Digest.
It's okay.
April,
We've managed to bust the
3307.
transmitter.
We read the
Quick, hammer it
news,
into
so
shape.
you don't
Somebody
have to.
get your spanner out.
In
Number
this
3
week's
spanner.
news,
Taxiing
Who's
times
got the number 3
in
spanner?
Adijan.
major conflict, not much interest.
Lullabies or Peter the Sleeper.
Yeah, rewind.
I think we're too tall. We're too tall. We can only see the bottom of it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Should we skip ahead onto? Have you got a button marked there for Flossie? We'll go to the Flossie bit, and then come back for that one. And would that help you out, DJ Nomsky? Seamless. Oh, you got it. That's okay. Well, we'll talk amongst ourselves in the meantime. So, Sergeant Major Mustang. Oh, it's going. Shh. Oh, no, it's not going.
Right.
You've got it. Oh, right.
So,
It's cool.
Yes, I got it working. So, basically, as Dave said, Galnet. Next.
Galnet next. Okay. And now...
Galnet News Digest, 1st of April, 3307. We read the news, so you don't have to.
In this week's news,
Taxiing times in Adijan.
major conflict, not much interest.
Lullabies or Peter the Sleeper.
Taxiing times in Adityan. In what's believed to be an April Fool's joke, the Pilots Federation has asserted that some of the missions in the full-sized Walking About on Planets star system simulator can actually be completed.
The simulator's system gives commanders a glimpse at what life would be like without spaceships. It features the ability to experience life racing to catch your space taxi before it leaves without you. Life as the passenger in a space taxi with nothing to do except listen to the driver's inane monologue about having David Braben in the back last week. And life as the passenger in a space taxi constantly denied landing permission, either because someone else's space taxi is padlocking or because the traffic controller has gone for a break and there's no one to grant landing permission.
It gives commanders the chance to experience what life is like when all their keybinds have stopped working, and takes them back to the days many years ago when they couldn't make credits using a Sidewinder because all the missions were to systems beyond the Sidewinder's 7.5 light-year jump range.
Only this time, they can't complete the missions because they get gunned down the moment they step off their space taxi, or they get too close to a guard, or they don't hear a guard ordering them to stop for a scan, or the guard doesn't like the colour of their eyes, or the thing you were sent to find wasn't there, or any one of a number of scenarios, all of which share the same familiar coda, a black and white image with splodges of red round the edges. The artists for the simulation spent more time on that screen than any other, because they knew it was the screen commanders would spend most time looking at.
Except for Commander Alec Turner. He has set off to walk all the way around a planet, and all he'll be seeing for quite some time will be desert and a distant horizon. Commander Turner has invented a way of travelling faster than normal walking, similar to the fliving of the SRV, using a mixture of skipping and jumping in the very low gravity. Commander Turner believes his skiving technique could more than halve his journey time, possibly to as little as 6 months.
Major conflict, not much interest. With so many commanders faffing around in the Adityan Star System simulator, it's easy to forget that the fate of the Empire now rests with commanders using the PS and Xbox flight control systems, and commanders who can only play the simulator at a resolution of 640 by 480 at 60 frames per minute, and with their cooling fans roaring like Niagara.
The Neo-Marlinists have thrown in their lot with Landgrave Arastin de la Croix and his faction, the Order of Madrid. In a less than completely imperial phrase, Senator Denton Petraeus has promised to whop their asses, thus setting the scene for a military showdown that both sides seem strangely confident will last for no more than a week.
The Marlinist settlers have expressed their dismay that the only imperial faction to switch to the Marlinist cause chose to back the violent Neo-Marlinists rather than the peaceful Marlinist colonies. Minister Aaron White of the Marlinists expressed his hope that Jaw would soon be able to replace War. In any case, with the majority of commanders otherwise engaged, it seems likely that there won't be much shooting going on outside of the Adityan Star System simulation.
Lullabies for Peter the Sleeper. An unexpected celebrity of the Adityan Star System simulator is the character known as Peter the Sleeper. Often found in a quiet corner of starport bars, Peter, who works as a freight loader, explained in a series of tweets that he arrived home after a long shift to find his wife had changed the locks and run off with one of Archon de Lane's henchmen.
As he doesn't get paid to the end of the month, he had no real option but to crash out in the bar, and there he remains in between shifts. As the word about Peter the Sleeper got around, Commander started visiting the slumbering celebrity. You've not been to Adityan if you don't have a selfie with Sleepy Pete, as the travel guides have it. On Sunday at 6 p.m, the Burr Pit plans an evening singing lullabies to the snoring superstar. Gather at Hopkins City in Open if you want to be part of the choir. And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.
Thank you, Commanders Wotherspoon and Beetlejude. Time now for Flossie to tell us what to do.
It's Flossie. It's Flossie. It's Flossie. It's Flossie. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossie here with this week's Community Goals News. There were no CGs to report on last week. This week we have conflicts between the Epsilon Fornaces Empire Group and the Neo-Marlinist Order of Madrid. Conflict has erupted between the Epsilon Fornaces Empire Group and the Neo-Marlinist Order of Madrid. An investigation by ACT in the Madrid system confirmed that the Order of Madrid provided logistical support for the NMLA's starport attacks. Their agents infiltrated other local factions to transport enzyme bombs to their targets. The faction has now named itself the Neo-Marlinist Order of Madrid. Landgrave Arastin Delacroix, its leader, has declared a revolution against the imperial family. From his flagship, the Steel Majesty, he announced, "The corrupt Duvals will never give up their power, so we must take it from them." All those who seek to change the established order, join us. Landgrave Delacroix has stated that all pilots willing to support the revolution by handing in combat bonds at the Steel Majesty in the Madrid system will be rewarded. The Epsilon Fornaces Empire Group responded by engaging their forces in battle. Senator Denton Patrius has ordered them to take revenge for the 9 martyrs' atrocities. He added that pilots who support their just cause by handing in combat bonds at Scott City in the Mudherd system will be well rewarded. If the Epsilon Fornaces Empire Group CG reaches Tier 1, the top 10% of participants will receive a fully engineered Class 2 Rating B long-range and high-capacity railgun with feedback cascade. If they are victorious, the top 75% will also receive the module, which will be placed in storage at Scott City in the Madrid system by Friday the 9th of April. If the Neo-Malinist Order of Mudherd CG reaches Tier 1, the top 10% of participants will receive a uniquely augmented Class 2 Rating B increased caustic damage and capacity enzyme missile rack. If they are victorious, the top 75% of participants will also receive the module, which will be placed in storage at the Steel Majesty at the Madrid system by Friday, 9th of April. The two factions have set out 7-day campaigns, which will end early on Thursday, the 8th of April. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the initiatives will end immediately. To be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at either Scott City or Steel Majesty in the Madrid system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossie told you what to do.
Thank you to Flossie. Lots of lovely pew-pew, just the way you like it. Now, it's time to walk over to the apology officer for the sports results.
Welcome to this week's Hutton Sports Report. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a spare pair of legs, just in case. This week we have the following events. The Still Not Talking to You PC lot, Galaxy-wide sulk. The I found a load of grenades and medkits just lying around, so I stole them cup. The promise to do a job for that dodgy guy outside the bar final. The he's scanning me, run! Cross-country race. You forgot to switch your shield on again, didn't you? Tournament, second round. The taxi isn't fast enough, backseat driver challenge. Right, window shopping at Pioneer Supplies is worth double. Overcharging your friend's suits results in disqualification. And always check those corners. The classified results are Zebedian, 54. Lydia of the Void, 46. Chicks, 142. Light 027, 92. Chicks, 573. Stadjäger, 469. No surprise here, Alex Zuno, 1227. Blade Runner UK, 371. Klopster, 1544. Bonehead 2412, 1424. Jintosh 2794. Old Plunker 1005, 1028. Elgin City 2. Haddington Athletic 3. Greenock Morton 1. Peterhead 3. Haghill Caledonian Thistle 2. Avic United 2. LHS 3447 Mavericks 1. PSPF LF2 flappers, 2. Decals there for Klopster and Jintosh. Surprised Klopster doesn't have one already, but there you go. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a pot of paint and a ladder to use with your new legs. 6 Hutton runs again this week, and Socrates Ectoplasm is really starting to close in on that record with a new personal best of 1 hour, 22 minutes and 23 seconds. That's only 3 seconds off the record and puts him in 3rd place overall. Are you bored? Are you questioning your life choices since you're not playing the Alpha? Then don't. You don't follow the crowd. You're not a sheeple. You're an individual, exactly like all of us. Have you been cursing Alex Zuno upside down for weeks because you can't win the bounty hunting? This may be your chance. All bets are off for this week's Hutton Helper results. Don't sit around moping or mopping when we have a guy for that. Get out there and do your thing. There's a Hutton decal in it for the best of you. How, you ask? Well, I'll tell you how. Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the Hutton Helper before going out there and doing stuff. You know, Hutton stuff. Let's face it, anything has to be better than hanging around the space bus simulator looking at the inside of an adder with the lights out. Well, that's it from me for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia. Now, we're going over to Amelia Hawke for the Galnet Rares Digest. And this week, I'm keeping my head well below the parapet. You'll see why in a minute.
Good evening. This is Amelia Hawke, newly promoted reporter for the Galnet Rares Digest. We try the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous trade goods, so you don't have to. Recent interest in planetary landings and walking about in dangerous situations, the Rares Digest office decided that it was time for me to take a look at some armaments. Not just your run-of-the-mill battle weapons, the kinds of things that turn you into a walking war machine, but the rarest, most stylish, and handcrafted personal weaponry that money can buy. The artisan weaponsmiths of the Gilya system have for centuries studied warfare, from Sun Tzu's Art of War through Caesar's Gallic Wars and right through to the seminal text on conflict. Men are from Lave, women are from Diso. From a young age, they undergo extensive training in the martial arts, in particular those that involve hitting people, shooting people, and generally introducing people to the pointy end of a stick. As part of their training, they study armed combat through the ages, and, due to the many ancient weapons of war being consigned to the history books, run a very special facility. It's in the Gilya forges that their artisans recreate weaponry that has long been forgotten by the passage of time. From trebuchets to tanks, Desert Eagles to pocket tactical nukes, they have blueprinted just about any way humanity has found to be mean to itself, and in more recent years other species, and can faithfully remake it to order. If you have a hankering to pose like Bruce Lee with some nunchaku, or a 44 cal Magnum revolver pointed at someone and drawl, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" then Gilya is the place to go. These replicas aren't what they sell on the rares market, though. A Gilya signature weapon is something handcrafted customer by customer and tailored just for them. Re-engineering ancient weapons using modern technologies, they can make your very own plasma Kalashnikov, or a claymore with an atom edge capable of cutting everything up to and including the atmosphere in a room. If you want a Desert Eagle replica that fires lasers but doesn't look like a laser gun, See Gilya. Want a big prehistoric club with a flip top containing a wealth of handy gadgetry and a pop-out talking robot bird? Want it in genuine wood effect titanium? Then they're your people. Each weapon is handcrafted to the exact specification. There are rumours that they've even made a custom combat pan for Commander Flossie, equipped on the handle with a stun and kill mode settings, but just as handy for cooking a quick fry-up of a morning. Want to throw the book at someone? They'll make you one that will do the job properly, and most probably leave a crater. They are massively expensive. A replica Mjolnir, as wielded by the Norse god Thor, complete with lightning and unable to be lifted by anyone but the owner, it will cost you nearly as much as your own spaceship. The last point. The ability to code any weapon to its owner is one of the key features of the rare, and is what gives the signature Gilya weapon its name. Each and every one is coded to its owner by DNA. And this is where the danger comes in. Whilst in theory it just prevents anyone picking the weapon up and using it, this is a feature that isn't mentioned in the brochure. Grab someone's weapon without permission, you'll most likely lose your hand. Or the blade will slip and take your leg off at the knee. Grab their Kalashnikov and it will go off in your face. Pocket a pocket tactical nuke and you'll find glowing parts of your anatomy decorating the four corners of the Milky Way. This is part of the reason why they're illegal just about everywhere. It's for these reasons that it is considered highly embarrassing to lose your signature weapon, as if you take your eye off it, it will most probably be out there taking someone else's eye out without you even being involved. Never, ever grab someone's weapon without permission. And in fact, even with permission, it's still likely to go off in your hand. Just look from afar if you really have to. I'm Amelia Hawke of the Galnet Rares Digest, and judging by the humming noise, the kitchen bakery appliance I just moved off my desk wasn't from a Galnet food cooking station, but my wife's weapon-grade Gilya rolling pin. I suspect I'm in extreme danger. Sweetheart, darling, would you mind grabbing that and deactivating it before it goes off? Darling?
Goodness gracious me. Amelia, are you all right?
I think so.
Do you think so? I mean, who would think you could weaponize, a signature rolling pin, for goodness sake?
Or pan, for that matter, but it can be done with anything, apparently.
I mean, the artisans, they will make a weapon out of anything. I mean, if you want... you want a replica Excalibur that will just, separate spaceships from their docking bay. They will make it, won't they? I mean, these guys are...
Yes, they're
and
very
girls,
good at it as well.
They are very, very good at making weapons. And weapons that don't look like weapons.
Yes. Unbeknownst to most people, anything could be a weapon.
Yeah, the idea. The Kalashnikov is. It's a design classic, isn't it?
Yes.
If you want to be an insurgent anywhere in the world, this thing. You can make it dusty, you can make it wet, you can make it. You can mistreat this. It's a bit like
drag it through hell.
What was the 20th century car or van that basically they mounted everything on the back of? And if you're an insurgent anywhere, it's a Toyota pickup, isn't it?
Toyota Hilux.
Yeah, that's the one. Anywhere in the world. Yeah, don't get heavy weaponry. Get a Hilux and just stick something on the back of it. And they make them. They make replica Toyota Hiluxes as well.
Yes,
especially.
yes.
Yeah.
Replica everything. Replica
Yeah.
anything from any time ever.
A replica
Yeah, I mean,
technical.
The whole Captain Caveman thing as well. I mean, the flip top club.
Yes.
What an invention!
With the robotic talking bird.
Or a
Yeah,
pistol,
I mean,
or a pistol if you're lucky, you get a pistol in it. All right, think yourself lucky, you got a pistol in it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, they specialize in making things that look like something old, behave like something new. I mean, the plasma Desert Eagle. I mean, what a thing!
I know, right? But never ever grab someone's weapon without
No.
permission.
No. Because you never know if it's one of these, and if it's one of these, it's about to do something bad to you, isn't it?
It could go off in your hand.
Yeah, that mess everywhere.
Mess. Absolute mess everywhere.
Yeah, total. But no, I mean, thank you for reviewing that one for us, and we're hoping that you and the other half survive the incident with the rolling pin.
I better go check on her, actually.
Yeah, I know. But look, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. It's been a fun evening this evening. We've got much more fun happening on Saturday. I have an important incoming message from the guys over at HCS as well, which I'm sort of obliged to say out loud that yes, on Monday, Commander Palantir, because I know you use these things.
Oh, yes.
We'll be releasing voice control for Odyssey. Which is going to be quite good fun. So that's going to be coming out Monday. This is an alpha version. Somebody explained to me, because there's a bit of confusion over this one. Maybe possibly the apology officer. What does "it's in alpha" actually mean?
I don't know. It means it's not in beta.
It's not finished. It was not finished
And
yet.
it's not finished, or it wouldn't be an alpha. It'd be released.
Do you play alpha or do you test alpha?
Bit of both.
Bit of both, yes. But by playing, you're testing. So yes, alpha releases.
Why are you asking me all these questions about the alpha?
I'm picking on you.
Shooting me.
Rubbing it in.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So I have to ask, in 0G, how does an alpha stay stuck to your launcher?
Just salt. It's the
Salt.
Yeah. What it is, it's the friction from the salt that holds it in place.
There we go. Yep. So yes, we're currently in alpha. We're currently testing this thing. Test it, report it.
Sorry.
Yes, testing it. We're trying to break it. That's the whole point. Now we're in Alpha 1. Commander Palantir, very quickly. There's an Alpha 2 coming. We don't know when.
Wednesday.
We do not.
Wednesday.
They suggested in the Pilots Federation chat earlier it was Wednesday.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wednesday.
They hope.
Yeah,
they hope.
unless
Obviously,
something happens to stop it being Wednesday, it's
I don't
Wednesday.
know. On Saturday, we managed to break everything completely, in which case it might not be Saturday.
But
Wednesday.
that doesn't mean they would put it back. That just means it's broken in a way they expected you to break it.
But so coming on Wednesday before the next show, we've got Phase 2. Phase 2, I think, is Combat Week.
It is Phase 2.
This
You've
week
got
wasn't.
your what's the mercenary company?
Frontline Solutions.
Frontline Solutions goes live.
Yep. So we're looking to the Frontline Solutions, and I think there were a few details revealed about that one. Basically, it's a war zone, a bit like a combat zone, a CZ.
Yep. It's a combination of players and non-player characters.
And, you'll also be able to go a lot further. You'll be able to go up to 20 light years away. And you can buy a ship. It's not your own ship, of course, but you can now buy it. So we're going to have to do a lot more missions.
Is that in 2 or is that in 3?
That's in 2. It's in 2.
That's in 2,
I'm looking. I've finally found the picture.
You can get one. I mean, you can get a lot of ships really cheap. Sidewinder's only 32 grand.
Yeah, one Gilya weapon, Amelia, is enough to buy yourself a Sidewinder.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think with the missions we're getting, I'd rather have one of their weapons.
And this is
yeah, a Maverick suit costs 3 haulers.
Well, there you go. Well, see, this is going to solve one of the biggest things about the fact that obviously in Alpha Phase 1, we all started at Hopkins City, which is right at the beginning of the system, but the system's huge, so we've been getting big taxis all over the place. This system is unusual. It's not normal to have stuff that far away, apart from Hutton.
It's going to be interesting to take a space taxi to another system as well. I'm just wondering if it's going to be an adder still, or if they might put you into something like a dolphin.
And
Like
will they
another
fuel
system.
scoop?
Well, they might.
I mean,
But the other
chicks.
thing I'm looking for, yeah, I was gone. Sorry.
Oh, so Commander Chicks, obviously, when they open up bigger and bigger and bigger bubbles for the testing, there are people saying, "Oh, can I book a space Uber to Beagle Point?" As an explorer, you could experience the entire 4-day journey.
But not sure you would want to.
It's not.
It's not experience, is it? I mean,
No,
that's,
it's yeah.
It's not 4
that's like going to a
days.
party, drinking yourself into the corner, saying, "I had a lovely time."
I'd do that.
You might do, but you don't remember it, do you?
It would take you 4 days.
Remember
anyway.
what?
The way these guys fly, it will take a couple of hours.
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, so there are questions. There are questions. Can you take a space Uber to Colonia? Can you take a space Uber to some of those? Go on then.
I think it's not. The thing is that although the focus is on weapons and balancing, I think there are other things. It's not all about going around killing people, because I'm reading here that there are missions for neighbouring systems, including trading with settlements and points of interest. So you'll be able to do that, hopefully, without having to shoot anyone. So
Points of interest.
Maybe-
even Flossie's got something in phase
God.
2.
Maybe there
Yeah.
are even more, because we don't get the exploration stuff until phase 3. But we have already found at least one set of suggestively shaped cacti.
Yes. It's interesting as well, because it'll get you having things like the points of interest will get you away from the settlement, so you'd be out in the wilderness kind of thing anyway, you know.
Oh yeah, you can take your ship if you can buy one and
Yeah.
land it anywhere you like.
Yes.
You can land. Yeah, you can land it in a canyon. You can try space geysers. Yes.
And look at the suggestively shaped vegetables.
Absolutely. And of course, this is not sort of invented space that doesn't already exist. This is, a place we already know. So it's in the bubble. It's systems we know. You never know. I don't know what's within 20 light years of that location, but there might be somewhere we recognize. There might be a rare item for sale. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Also,
You never know.
if you can get a space taxi to go a lot further, will they go south of the galactic divide after 6 o'clock at night?
Yeah, I was
not
going to say
definitely
depends
that,
what time of night.
No.
It's a 20 light year sphere. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how thick the bubble is at that point, but
Bubble's about 2,000 diameter. It's about 1,000
okay.
direction.
well, we're looking forward to it. And obviously, so yes, voice control on Monday. We've got phase 2 landing Wednesday-ish. We've got our event on Saturday. It's not the last group event that we're going to be doing. We are going to be, when we hit phase 4 and you all got your Corvettes and everything else, we're going to be giving it a real big bash as well. So this is a starter bash. Come and join us, or come and listen in. We will be streaming on this very channel, so twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers. We're going to be streaming what we're up to, which probably means a lot of, "Oh, I'm dead. He's shooting my corpse, you bastard."
Sounds like fun.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I know.
Yeah,
Is that when they do shoot you, they shoot you
they're
to the
vindictive,
ground,
aren't
and
they?
come in. Yeah, they come
Yeah.
in and start putting the boot in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Are they from Glasgow? These people? What?
well, I must admit, the taxi drivers I think are. I mean, have you seen?
I heard one
These
of
will
them.
drop off. These will drop off into the dodgiest corner of Glasgow,
And they
Right,
won't
and then-
Shot at.
Yeah.
and then drive away at speed while being shot at. Yeah.
They
So,
do, they- I mean, they'll take you to any station, whether it's under fire, military base, or anything. But they are a bit weary about going to Milton after 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Well, it's sort of getting towards the end of the show. Thank you very much to Commander Ventura for pushing the buttons, to Commander Palantir for doing the colouring in for us this evening and other duties, to the Rampage for sitting quietly in the corner and telling us all about
I'm lurking.
private security measures, to Amelia for not dying under a deadly rolling pin,
Yep.
to the apology officer for not having too much of a big huff other than the one that you're riding in at the moment,
Yes, it's not big, it's massive.
to Commander Chicks
Yeah.
for not extending the show with extra awesome bits, but you're going to bring it back next week probably,
Definitely. There's 2 to
and
go.
to Commander Flossie for bringing us all the latest on the CGs. I assume being combat CGs, Flossie, you're not touching them with the long one.
Definitely not.
I should
Definitely.
have telling you that anyway.
Yeah.
I might do the combat in the alpha because there's no consequences.
And to the FTM Mustang for joining us with some military background information as well. And, of course, to our listener for bothering to tune in through the entire thing. Anyway, and finally, if you're a console player and you've been affected by any of the issues in tonight's show, we would like to apologise. This is number 11 on the top 10 things that we'd like to do, but we probably won't anyway. So, good night.
Right, that's it.
For
This
the mug!
programme is
For the
over.
mug!
For the mug.
King Mug.
For the
Ladies and
grandpas.
gentlemen,
For the
that's
grandpas.
the
For the
end of
grandpas.
show.
The grandpas.
Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossie always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. No part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
We are very, very sorry for all of the mishaps, all of the misbroadcasts, all of the non-broadcasts, and all of the nonsense which has happened at this evening's Hutton News.
I'm Mr. Dusty.
Well, thank you very much. That was excellent.
Give me your trash.
Night all.